Okay, remember to not have that much vocal fry today.
Okay. Limited vocal fry.
Limited vocal fry.
How does one
Limited vocal
how
fry.
does one speak without vocal fry? I fear
I
I've
don't
lost
know.
the
You just
ability.
need to talk like, should we talk like motivational speakers today?
How do they talk?
Considering I was at a motivational speech conference all fucking day.
Tell me, fill me
The
in.
the like MC guy was like, yeah, and now welcome to the stage, Sofia Vergara. And I was
And how did she talk?
like Sofia
No, yeah,
Vergara.
but did
No,
she put on a motivational speech voice or was she talking like normal?
okay, well, actually, there was like a lot of other people. They were like
Okay.
either motivational speeches or interviews.
Tell me how the women spoke.
It just depends on like the person. It just depended on the person. Sofia Vergara was like very Sofia Vergara. Like I kind of feel like she was like playing the stupid like lady thing,
Mm-hmm.
but was like funny.
And she's like obviously really smart. Me and my vocal fry.
I don't know. That's debatable.
Oh, you don't think so? I think she's super smart.
She was like talking about like her empanadas business at Walmart and like some makeup line and some other thing and some other thing and some other thing, and it was giving like Kylie Jenner.
Kylie with Sprinter
Yeah, and like
Kai
75
and
other things.
yeah,
And I'm like,
Kylie
you're just rich
Cosmetics
and you're just
and
creating shit and you're just putting it in Walmart because like
mm-hmm.
must be so nice.
Must be so nice.
Um but like the interviewer would be asking her a question and she wouldn't really also after like every other question she'd be like, what do you mean? Like what? Like what does that mean? And I'm like, are you not understanding the question? Like
Yeah.
I was like kind of losing my train of thought myself. And then
Mm-hmm.
what else happened? Oh yeah, she would just like answer them so short, but then everyone else was
Mm-hmm.
like Olympic gold medalists and like
Mm-hmm.
fucking who was that guy? Jason Sudeikis.
Mm-hmm.
He was funny. And then there was like some straight like finance bro guy talking that has like 5 million followers on Instagram. I had no idea who he was. And when he got on stage, I was like, girls, I gotta go. I was like,
Yeah, get me out
my
of here.
fatigue was hitting. I was
Yeah.
like, my ass is falling asleep. I need to go get a Diet Coke out there and find someone to flirt with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. So I left during that. Um,
I want to say something unless you're going to say more.
I don't really have a lot to say today. So let's go.
I feel like, okay, so I have been looking for a new job,
Really?
as if that hasn't been clear. I've been looking for a new job and I haven't even fucking been interviewing because it's been like miserable even getting interviews right now. But I've had a few interviews over the past couple of weeks. And I have always noticed this, but I've noticed it especially lately. There's something wrong with my brain. And I think I'm not being fucking ironic or like trying to be funny when I say this, but like I genuinely think it's autism related. But there is something wrong with my brain that when I read a question or am asked a question, my brain doesn't always interpret it the right way. And I kind of overthink it and like overthink what they're asking. And it makes it really hard for me to answer questions because I don't exactly know the direction they're wanting me to take. Because a lot of questions are like kind of open ended in my brain where like you can either go this direction or this direction. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, I've always had
In
this
terms
problem.
of
Like,
how you answer the question, because I feel like isn't your answer to the question going to be consistent because you're also autistic and you can't lie, which people on TikTok or Instagram think that you are now a pathological liar.
everyone thinks I'm a fucking liar.
But like, I don't understand.
No, it's like, it's about
I need more.
ambiguity around the question. I'm thinking about homework assignments and if I'm working on a project, if I'm assigned a project, and like this was a huge problem in college where I'm assigned a project and there's like instructions, but they're not incredibly detailed. And I'll interpret it one way and then question myself over and over and over and over again if I interpret it the right way. And then I'll ask other people in the class and they all interpret it a completely different way, but
But like theirs are
consistently
consistent.
with one
Yeah.
another. And mine was different.
What? How is yours different? Like, in what way would you be thinking that that question is asking something that it's not?
I can't give a example because I've been graduated for about 62
Okay,
years
but
now.
you are dealing with this today still.
Okay, so I'm thinking about like I've had a few job interviews recently and I've noticed that like in the interviews I'll be asked a question and it's like okay, I can either answer it this way or I can answer it this way and I don't know which answer they're wanting from me and so I have to ask like to
Like
clarify
clarifying questions to
to figure
determine
out what
which
they
way you're
want.
going.
Whereas I feel like it makes me look fucking stupid, but actually it's like I'm kind of smarter than everybody because I can like interpret it multiple different ways, even though I'm not. I'm totally
Even though
cutting
you're
that out.
interpreting it like the wrong way.
Right, but like it could be the right way too. You know? Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'm fucking retarded and so maybe Sofia Vergara is not dumb and maybe she's just autistic.
That could be highly, highly possible.
But I will say the reason I believe this is related to autism is because I did see somebody else on the internet talking. This was like a couple months ago. I saw somebody else on the internet talking about how I don't remember exactly what they said, but they basically were saying they experienced a really similar problem where they interpret like questions and stuff very differently than most other people do. Anyway,
I'm in a group chat with some girlfriends and they all sent in their results for an adult autism test.
was it the Radzar exam?
I'm not sure.
Is that what it's called? Radzar, I think. I don't know. Anyway.
And I sent it to my office group chat
And
so they can take the test.
they haven't yet.
No,
Are you going to
they're-
report back?
Of course.
Okay, Slay.
I'm going to follow up with them
Do you
tomorrow
think
morning.
you work with a lot of autistic people?
I just think it's an interesting, like, actually, you know what? And I opened it because I was so fucked up the other night. This was last night. And I opened it to take the test myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question, literally, maybe I am fucking autistic. The first question was like, do you enjoy spending time with other people or something like that? And it was like strongly agree, disagree. No, it was like strongly agree, slightly agree, semi. No, it was like slightly. It was like agree or slightly disagree. Okay, hold on. I need to think about how the answers were like. It was like I do not agree, slightly agree, and then it was like I do not disagree, and then like slightly disagree. And I was like, don't like two of these answers cancel each other out?
Yeah.
Like, isn't slightly disagree the same thing as strongly disagree? So I'm like, is this a trick answer? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
And I was like losing my mind. I was looking at it for 5 minutes and I was like, I don't want to answer this the wrong way. And then it's going to tell me that I'm autistic when I'm not autistic, or it's going to tell me that I'm not autistic when I am autistic.
Yeah.
Because the way that these answers are structured, I'm like, this is literally making absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually pull this up really quickly. Something clinical-partners UK. Okay. I prefer to do things on my own rather than with others. Definitely agree. Slightly agree. Slightly disagree. Definitely disagree. And I'm like, I prefer to do things on my own rather than with others. I agree, or like,
So in your head, it's either like I agree or I disagree. That's not like there's no like middle ground.
I guess it's not that deep. Maybe I was just really fucked up, but I guess it's not actually that deep.
You were probably really fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it still doesn't really make sense. I'm going to have to just consciously stop thinking about that, or else I'm going to be thinking about it all night.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
I have a highly feminist-based theory, and it is that actually I don't think that this is that far out. There might be a statistic behind it or something, but women are underdiagnosed, if that's the right word, with autism because women are better at masking autism than men are.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I think it's because like women are like
Wait, is this like a known fact?
I think so. I could be wrong. It may just be like a fake TikTok fact or whatever, but I haven't done my own research. But women are better at like masking is what they call it than men are, and I think that it's because like women are always having to carry themselves differently, present themselves differently, yada yada yada, because of society and whatever, so on and so forth. However, I do want to say I took the RADS-R exam, which is like an autistic diagnosis exam thing or whatever. And I took it with my ex-boyfriend, who was like super fucking seemingly autistic, like super fucking autistic. And I was like, this motherfucker is going to get the craziest score.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it before him. And then, but I took it on my own, like didn't tell him my score or anything. And then he took it while we were together and he ranked like significantly lower than me. And I was like, and we were watching Love on the Spectrum while we were doing this. But anyway, it's just like, maybe I really am that fucking autistic. Like maybe I actually am.
I saw on TikTok this girl was like getting her autism diagnosis and she like started crying and it was like so sad, but like
Yeah.
but she was like I think she was like relieved and like happy that she was getting diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
Um but I don't know, that's just crazy. Like I don't know, imagine like living your life for so long and just being like, okay, like I'm kind of weird, like I have these like quirks and whatever, and then to like have someone diagnose you with that just sounds like so heavy to me.
Honestly, like, no, I don't even feel like it would be heavy. I feel like it would just be a relief. Like, oh, there's a reason why I'm this way. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not fucking
But I also feel
crazy.
like autism isn't as like I remember growing up and it was like, oh, like my mom's friend's kid would be like, you know, slightly weird and like throwing tantrums and something and like, oh my God, like he's autistic, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
be patient, be nice with him. But now I feel like the like gradient and levels of autism are
Mm-hmm.
so much different than what they were 15, 20 years ago, like when I was a child. So I feel like it's actually, yeah, maybe less heavy.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like it's like more normalized in
Well,
a weird way.
it's not like a death sentence. It's not like
Yeah.
your life is fucked because you're autistic. It's like
Yeah.
it's more of because back then, like when there was such a stigma around those kinds of things, where
Yeah.
we just had an episode 2 episodes ago where we said that like mental health and like diagnosis like this aren't real, but ignore that. There was such a stigma around those types of, is diagnoses the right word? Those types of diagnoses, is that a word?
Diagnosi. Diagnoses. Diagnosi.
Anyway, and so
Diagnosi.
therefore it was like you were fucking weird if you were diagnosed as whatever, but now it's like that we don't find that weird anymore. So it's like it's not a bad thing. It's just a way to explain that the reason why you are the way that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Today, during the job interview that I had today, I felt like I could so heavily relate to the woman that was interviewing me and all the things that she was saying. I literally had to bite my fucking tongue to not ask her, "Are you autistic?"
What was she saying?
Because she was just talking about like, she came from like a really long corporate background and she like hates the corporate environment. And she's like, she was talking about how she really struggles sometimes with like, she doesn't greet people and instead she'll just like email somebody saying, "Can you do XYZ?" And I also like, especially going into a career, like my professional career, I had this one coworker at my first job, and during the pandemic when we were working remotely, it would be like the middle of the workday. Like I knew she was online, she was working and whatever, and I would just text her and be like, "Hey, do you have XYZ or whatever?" And she would text me back and be like, "Hi Cedar, like hope your day is going well." And then she would say like blah 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 blah. And like I always forget to like greet people. And she was saying like she has that problem too and whatever. And so that was just like one small thing in which I found like common ground with her. But then there was also like a lot of other things where she was saying like she can come off as like a little bit too blunt and
Harsh.
straightforward sometimes. Yeah. And I was just like, and in terms of our own individual perceptions of like the type of work environment we prefer and like our experience with corporate work environments and those kinds of things, I just felt like I really related to her. And I was like, there's something like cognitively wrong with this person that could be the only explanation as to why I relate with her.
I feel like we should do our intro and then I have something to say.
Oh my God. Also, if anyone is watching this video, if you're on YouTube or if you watch on Spotify or whatever, The reason Chris and I keep poking our little heads up like fucking prairie
Because
dogs,
our phone, I'm sorry, our camera,
our professional camera
our
equipment.
Nikon DX570 860G 500 died or just stopped recording. So I'm just
Like
peeking my
2
head
episodes
over
ago.
to see if our Canon S500 is working.
We're a little traumatized. We're shell shocked. Sorry if we look like prairie dogs. We're just making sure that everything is running smoothly because our cameraman, who usually stands behind the camera, he's been on vacation.
Richard.
Okay, hi guys. Welcome
Hi,
back
welcome to Hot and Bothered.
Unbothered.
I'm Chris Bruno.
I'm Cedar Champ.
On this podcast, we talk about everything that we find hot as fuck.
And everything that bothers the shit out of us.
Mm-hmm. We have minimal life experience.
No credentials.
And don't take anything that we say too seriously. You know the drill.
Everything
Yada, yada,
on
yada.
this podcast is up for interpretation. If you think we're being serious, we are. If you think we're being
Everything on this
satirical,
podcast
we
is up
are.
for grabs. We
Exactly.
are single. We are ready for something.
Are you trying to prostitute yourself right now?
I immediately regretted saying that once it came out of my mouth. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Okay, thank you. Scratch that. Okay, Slay. What did you have to say?
I'm brain dead. I'm fucking brain dead.
No
Okay.
surprise there. That is every
I'm
day.
waking up. I'm waking up. Corporate like email courtesy and like I haven't had a corporate job since like before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole like I don't fucking know how people do it. I do not understand how people can like send a message or an email or a text like that like in the middle of the day. I'm like, one thing I adore about myself is that I value my time. And like I feel like there's so much bullshit like in a corporate world that you have to like abide by as like some courteous bullshit so you like don't offend someone or like you don't think that someone's gonna like I don't know, like it's like all those weird little like
You're not going to be
internal
pulled
politics
into a meeting
thing.
with HR.
Yeah, because you didn't fucking greet Caroline, you know, in this
In an
department
email.
with an email with
Yeah.
14 exclamation points and
Asking
hi,
how
how
her
are you?
newborn baby
Like,
is doing.
like
and
I don't email like
if
that.
her dog like had successful surgery.
Yeah,
and,
like I don't
shut
care.
the
And
fuck
I don't know
up.
if that's partially because everyone that I work with is Russian and they just
That's
don't
exactly what it is.
give two fucks about anything.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, when someone comes up to me and like, oh God, I don't know if I should say this. When like someone comes up to me in my office and is like talking to me about like we're all very close. It also like depends on the day and shit. But I'm like, I don't want to know anything about
Talking
your
about personal shit.
Yeah, I'm like, one, I don't want to know. But then also, yeah, there's people like where you answer the phone and they're like, hi, Chris, how are you? And I'm like, why are you calling me?
Get to the fucking
Why are you
point.
calling me?
Get to the
Why are
fucking
you
point.
calling me? I'm like, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking fine. Like, I'm like, I'm, and then it's like, you have to like, and then sometimes I'm like, fuck, am I just an asshole? And I'm like, it's not like life isn't that serious and I should like appreciate these relationships of these people that like I work with and like all this other shit, you know? But then I'm like, I really don't give a fuck and I don't want to have to ask how you're doing and I don't care. But it's like, should I just be polite and should I be respectful? But then also I'm like, the 15 seconds that we're having this conversation, do you know how much I could be getting accomplished right now?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you're an asshole. I think you're just busy. And can I also say something? Let's stop trying to force ourselves to believe that work is enjoyable and work is pleasurable because it's not. We don't need to pretend like we like our coworkers. We don't need to pretend like we give a fuck what you did over the weekend. We don't need to fucking have all of these like bullshit, fake little conversations. Let's get to the point. Let's get the job done and let's call it a fucking day. Like the
Okay,
sooner.
girl, Miss Thang with no job. She's coming for him. She's coming for everyone.
First of all, you shut the fuck up. Second of all, we had this conversation 3 episodes ago or whatever it was when we had PJ on the podcast and we talked about how in like corporate environments and in professional settings there's always like so much time that's wasted on people talking about how much work they have to do and like scheduling meetings so we can all talk about the work that we're going to do but never actually doing it, yada yada yada. And like What if we all stopped wasting each other's fucking time talking about all this shit that no one actually fucking cares about? Like, I would love nothing more than to do a job where I didn't have to deal with anybody else. I can clock in, do my like days worth of work and
Mm-hmm.
take my fucking Adderall and power through that in 2 hours and have that shit done by 10 a.m. and then go about my day and do whatever the fuck I want. Because there's so many people that waste so much fucking time. And it's like, just because you enjoy wasting your fucking time doesn't mean that I do. I'm sorry, I have a life.
I
I know
just
you
like
don't want to go home to
this
your
is like
family and your wife that you fucking hate.
making my skin crawl. I just don't think that I could like ever, 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 ever work in a corporate environment ever again. I just like don't think that I would be able to do it.
I
Like
know.
I feel like my career path is a little bit different. Is a little bit different. Is a little bit different.
What was
I'm
that?
going to enunciate. Um, I feel like my career path is a little bit different, where it's like I am kind of like an independent, person doing my own thing, but
Yeah.
it's like there are so many people involved in me working by myself that it's like almost harder in some ways. No one fucking cares.
Should we do a vocal fry check in?
I'm good, babe. I'm good. Um, are you hot or are you bothered?
I need to drink some beer quick. Hold on, please.
Okay, are you hot or are you bothered? You're hot.
I don't know what I am about this.
I don't know what I am about this.
Like, I think I should be bothered, but I'm not. Like, I'm not in a bothered spirit today.
Slay. That's like how I am about everything in life.
So maybe I'll be like hot, but like in like a really disgusting and like slightly slutty kind of way. And
Spit it out.
I'm not saying this with pride,
So you're
okay?
hot.
I'm hot. Okay. I'm hot this week because this isn't a bold claim. This is not a bold statement. This is not breaking news. Sex without condoms is unmatched, and I don't give a fuck how ultra thin skin, like extra lube,
KY
missing
pleasure,
latex, like ribbed for
cotton
whoever's
candy,
pleasure.
like with those little like with like peppermint in it to like make your pee pee tingle. Uh-uh.
I don't give a fuck how many extras you add on to that fucking package that says condoms on it.
Nothing feels as good as skin to skin, mama.
Exactly. Exactly. And okay, so this is one thing. I don't know why I became this way or where this mentality came from because for as long as I can remember, I was always, always, always told, like, if you're going to have sex, make sure you use condoms. When I was younger, I don't know if we had this conversation on here before. When I was younger, I was given the sex talk once.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly enough, I was probably 12 years old. I was in the car with my father and he was driving me to a block party that I wanted to go to meet up with like a bunch of other middle school kids or whatever grade I was in. And it was just he and I. And he said to me, I don't know when you're going to have sex for the first time. And I don't care if it's tonight or if it's 2 years from now or if it's 12 years from now. When you decide to have sex, use a condom, and that is all I ask of you. And I said, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. And I had older sisters, and they were always like, like make sure that you're careful whenever you choose who you want to sleep with the first time, blah, 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 blah. Use condoms. Everyone always said use condoms, right? So I lose my virginity, didn't use a condom. And then I sleep with somebody else for the first time, didn't use a condom. But I've always been like, even before I like started having sex, when I was just like hooking up with people, like giving blowjobs and like whatever, I would always get tested for STDs. And then once I did start having sex, then I would get tested after every new partner. But at no point in that process did I feel it necessary to start using condoms. And I feel I may be too far gone.
Yeah.
I'm 26 years old and I've used condoms with probably like 3 or 4 guys that I've slept with.
I'm like I don't want this to go out in the public. But I'm just like, I'm not gonna get pregnant. He's not gonna get pregnant. Why do I need to use a condom? So I don't know. Like for gay people, I understand it's different, but I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? Knock on fucking wood. I've never had an STD. Knock on wood. I've never had.
I thought you were
It.
gonna say knock on wood, no one's getting pregnant.
Well, that too. Fuck. Who knows at this point? But I've never had an STD. Like, I need to knock on wood somewhere.
I'll knock for you. Does that count?
No, that's gonna literally do the opposite.
Okay, then go over
I just
there.
knocked on the foot of the couch.
Is my floor linoleum or is that hardwood? I think it's okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Probably engineered wood or fake wood. Um, I've used a condom like once or twice.
slay.
I think I've used a
And
condom.
you've never had an STD.
I think I used a condom like the first guy that I think I used a condom like not the first guy that I hooked up with. Like my first boyfriend, we used a condom like once or twice, and then I was like, why are we using a condom? Like, we're not getting pregnant.
How often do you get STD tested?
I was just thinking, I think the last time I got tested was like 6 months ago. But I've probably only had.
I feel like it was sooner than that.
Really? It was when I went to that place and they sent me a bill for $850 after they said it was free.
You're right. Maybe it's been a
Um,
while.
No, I think it was like 6 months ago, but I should probably. I mean, I've only had intercourse with. It's another thing. I feel like I should start counting again, but sky is the
No.
limit.
No.
So you don't. So you're hot because you don't want to use condoms ever again.
Yeah. And okay, so here's the thing. I'm the same way. I've like rarely ever used condoms. However, I have contracted an STD or two in my day. But like, okay, anyway, so point being, I was always very careful, always very careful. And the guy I lost my virginity to, and I knew that I knew he was like, he slept with everybody, like whatever. He gave me an STI called trichomoniasis, which is like
The fuck is that?
super common, blah 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 blah. Like everyone gets it at some point.
Watch
Usually
me
people
have
don't know that they have
trichomoniasis
it.
tomorrow.
I feel like I don't know if it's like a gay thing. I could be super wrong about that, but like I feel like it's less common among the gay community. Anyway, maybe I'm making that up because I'm homophobic. But anyway, so I had trichomoniasis, whatever, got that treated. Okay, the doctor who treated me, loved her. She was so slay. And I was like literally this like 16-year-old girl, like my parents don't know I'm at the gynecologist. And she was like, oh, like, here's this medication. She's like, don't drink on it. Some people do and they're fine. Some people do and they get really fucking sick. So like be careful. And I was like, okay,
I'll be fine.
I'm not a pussy. Had 2 drinks, blacked out, threw up everywhere, woke up in my own vomit, hot mess. Anyway, I was 16. That was a different lifetime. So anyway, that was my first one. And then also when I was like 17, I got chlamydia from a guy that I didn't even have sex with. I gave head to. That was my first time with chlamydia. So anyway, I used to get tested after every single guy. And then last summer, I was in a relationship. And then in the span of like a month, I slept with a handful of guys. And we all know I've admitted it on here before. And I'm not ashamed of it. I got chlamydia last summer. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, maybe I should start being more careful because
Yeah.
I'm not getting tested as frequently because that is a hefty bill. That is a hefty bill. And I don't have a job. So I'm not getting tested as frequently. Maybe I should start
So-
using condoms.
Yes, you are going to use condoms because you don't want to get tested for STDs.
Yeah. So I was being careful. I have been tested recently. And then I've been sleeping with the same person really consistently.
Yeah, I
And
was
so
gonna
like
say.
the first like 3 times we slept together, we were using condoms. And then I was like, hey, what if we didn't use a condom? And like the look of panic and fear that like washed over his face when I said that, like this man has used condoms his entire life. Like even in committed relationships, like committed monogamous relationships, this man has been using condoms. And I'm like, first of all, you haven't lived.
Yeah.
Second of all, what are you fucking worried about? Chlamydia is not that scary. I'm not gonna lie,
And you're
guys.
like, I'm not getting pregnant.
And I'm not getting pregnant because I take birth control religiously and I eat it like fucking candy. And even if I did get pregnant, like you'll be okay if you have to drive me to the clinic, you
Yeah.
know? So anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I'm trying to be more conscious about using condoms because I'm not getting tested as frequently. However, I do want to say I don't know if that makes as much of a difference as we all think it does in terms of using condoms to prevent STDs and STIs.
I'm sure there's some kind of statistic out there.
I mean, they always say like you shouldn't rely on condoms to prevent STDs and STIs and blah 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 blah, and
So
that's
pick a
like
lane. What's the truth?
that's what I'm saying. So then my ex-boyfriend, who is a doctor, who like doesn't know anything about medicine except for how to shape like a perfect pair of tits. It's like really the only skill he has, and everything else is just like has completely left his brain. But he did tell me one time, which I don't know how much any of us can rely on this. He was like, condoms are useless. Like they don't do anything. Like they're very pointless. The only thing they're
Interesting.
preventing is people getting pregnant
Yeah.
in terms of like spreading STDs and STIs. Like they are so fucking pointless. And I'm like,
Okay.
so maybe we're just not using condoms.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is like a short, sweet, and to the point argument for me. Like I don't know. I don't think I'm not gonna
Never
get
have, never will.
I'm not getting pregnant. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fuck someone who's able to get pregnant. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why I would use it. And I feel like this is kind of like like a lot of gay men's thoughts on
Mentality.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like same with like coming in a guy. Like guys are
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like you'd let me come in you, or like whatever, and I'm like, bitch, am I gonna get pregnant? Like I can shit out your fucking cum for 24 hours. I'm fine with that. Like I'm not getting pregnant.
No,
You know what I
exactly. No,
mean? I'm like,
exactly.
do whatever you need to do. If that's how you want to finish, babe, go off. Like I'm not gonna like pull out and
Wait,
like
I didn't realize that gay guys like got like
I think
crazy
that
about
maybe they
that.
ask as like courteous, like
Yeah.
as like a
Well,
courtesy.
they're nicer than
But
straight
then
men
I'm
because a
like,
lot of
I'm
straight
not
men
gonna
don't.
like pull out as I'm like about to come in you to like jerk off the like watery shit on
Like,
my
what
dick.
difference does it
Like
make?
no, like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
come inside of you. Like
Yeah.
what else would I do?
Where else would you put it?
What
Like,
am I
what
gonna? I don't want to
literally
like.
what difference does it make?
No, like don't you want to feel the warm come inside of you?
Yeah.
Slay.
Slay. Um,
You're like no.
I mean, no. But yeah, I have a whole thing that I could get into about that, but I'm not going to because it's a little too graphic. However, actually, I'm going to. Two things I want to say. I don't care when someone comes inside of me because I always come better when somebody else is coming. So it's like if you pull out, it just ruins it for me.
Yeah, I feel like
Second of
it's like
all, it just like ruins the moment.
yeah,
Like,
it's
let's
like
just
oh my
come.
god, no. Like why do
Yeah.
we have to like stop right before we get to like the good part? You
No,
know? It's like it's
exactly.
a fucking like tease.
No, exactly. Like, let's just enjoy this
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another thing is, I don't feel like if somebody comes inside of me, I don't feel it. Like, some people can feel like the temperature difference. Some
Yeah,
people can
yeah.
feel like the actual cum inside
Yeah.
of them. I can't feel that. And I thought I was alone in that. Turns out I'm not. That's apparently semi normal. But I feel like I don't have a lot of nerves inside of me, which is actually also very normal for women. So like that part of the whole process doesn't really make a difference to me. For me, it's like less about the what is happening and more about the act of what's happening, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's part of it. And then also, I don't remember what my last point was, but that I can't feel it. Oh, and then also another, I had a friend that suggested we talk about this sometime, and like I don't know if we actually ever will cover this topic or go very deep into it because it is quite heavy. However, like the fact that like gay men are asking permission before coming inside of another man is like actually kind of a huge deal because the amount of straight men that don't ask if it's
I
okay.
mean, it's not every single time.
No, I know, but like the fact that anyone is asking at all when like for women having heterosexual sex, like
Could lead
there's a
to
like
a child.
realistic risk of somebody getting pregnant, and
Yeah.
like I've had guys like come inside of me without asking if I'm on birth control, asking if it's okay if they come inside of me, warning that they were going to come, like literally no
Sign.
warning or conversation or asking like for permission or asking for consent or anything, and just like doing it, and then like they like all of a sudden just like stop like thrusting,
And you're like, babe, are
and I'm
you
like, are you
done?
okay? And they're, oh yeah, I came. Like, what?
Like what?
Anyway, that's kind of like a relatively normal experience to have as a woman, but so like the fact that like there are gay men asking permission to come inside of other men, and like some straight men can't even pull that off, it's like, okay. Anyway, are you hot? Are you bothered?
I'm hot this week.
Tell us about it.
I'm hot this week because I pulled a Cedar and I experienced something that I never thought that I would experience. Um,
Getting pregnant.
I got pregnant and I went to a fucking rodeo in Arizona.
Did you wear a little baby bump?
I
You
didn't.
didn't.
I was like typical Chris fashion of being like forgetful, having having
No
not
planning
opened,
skills.
having no planning skills, being like so last minute, having not opened this group chat one time. I went to a bachelorette party. One of my best friends is getting married and she's pregnant, and so like everyone got little baby bumps and it was super cute.
It was cute. They had like little like shotgun wedding themed like merch and stuff. It was
Yeah, yeah,
adorable.
yeah, yeah. And we went to Arizona and we went to a fucking rodeo and all the girls wore the fake pregnant bellies.
Okay, for anyone who gives a fuck, they weren't actually at a rodeo. They went
Oh,
to
what
a
were?
bull riding.
Oh,
They
I don't
went to
know.
every Friday night. Buffalo Chip does bull riding, and it's like amateur bull riding, but that's where you were.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah,
Like it was so fucking fun. And honestly, like, okay, this is gonna sound like really shallow and horrible of me, but I was
say it.
like, I had no idea where I didn't even know the agenda of this weekend. I didn't even know it. I literally packed like two bathing suits and like
Love.
two pairs of shorts and like didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, it's gonna be
Hmm.
108 degrees. I just like I don't really even care. Like I don't know what's going on. Like whatever. So we like go to some like Mexican restaurant across from wherever this buffalo chips place is, and the restaurant was like fun. We were like obviously all blacked out, and then we go to this like rodeo place, Buffalo Chips, and I was just like. In my mind, I'm like, okay, we're obviously gonna be like the hottest people here. Like, I'm with like a group of like 12 really pretty girls.
Hmm.
Like, I know they all have like baby bellies, but like, I'm gonna like
Oh, that's a part that you
probably be
left out.
like,
All of the girls wore babe.
I think I said
I
that.
don't think you said
I
that.
think I did.
Oh,
But all the girls wore like fake bellies and it was hilarious. But no, I was like walking in and I was like, okay, like obviously like I'm gonna be like the only person in here who like I don't want to sound like a dick, but like
is
you know what I mean.
normal.
I'm gonna be like I'm the only person in
That's not
here
a
that
hillbilly.
is like has a full set of teeth and like
Yeah.
like no one knows what's going on. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is just all gonna be like a bunch of like
Which
hill
is not a like not a wrong assumption, to
no,
be
like
fair.
I'm just being like stereotypical California.
Yeah.
Like I'm just being arrogant and like retarded.
But yes, I do want to give you the benefit of the doubt though, because like if it were literally any other place, if you were to walk into literally any other bar in Arizona, I would say, yeah, absolutely, that's
Yeah.
the crowd you would see.
Okay.
This specific bar, different case.
So
Anyway,
whatever. We were walking in and I was like, okay, the girls are giving like airbag lips and they're kind of giving like
like
whatever.
bedazzled boots
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like,
Like I
yeah.
was like, okay, they're kind of like cosplaying the moment, and then I was like not really even looking at the guys, and then I was like kind of like distracted by like all the girls, pregnant girls that I was with, and then we like get inside. This fucking place is massive. There's like
Hmm.
17 different sections to it. It's like a gorgeous layout.
Like the
Like
inside is like kind of small, but then like you walk past the bar and then all of a sudden it's like
okay,
huge.
I literally was like, this is the Abbey. Like
Yeah.
the bar, the like wraparound bar that's like half inside,
Yeah.
half outside.
Yeah.
Then like the chapel would be like the dance floor that's up, that covered dance floor.
Hmm.
And then anyway, it was just fucking
Okay,
hilarious.
you heard it here first. Buffalo Chip in Arizona is the
Equivalent to the
equivalent to the
Abbey.
Abbey in West Hollywood.
Um there were really attractive people there. And
Yeah.
I'm like there were really pretty girls. Like there were like gorgeous girls.
Mm-hmm.
There were very fucking handsome men.
The men are
Like
so hot
they
there.
were like I saw like two of the hottest guys I've ever seen in my life. Like I
Yeah.
remember being like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And they were talking like ugly chicks, which is always the case.
Yeah.
But just such attractive people, and I was fucking humbled. I was humbled. I was Is that the right word?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Humbled.
Is that the right word? No.
What do you give me more context?
Okay, just scratch that. No, but I was just so taken aback by like how attractive everybody was. I was like, I'm the ugliest person here. Like I'm dressed like I was literally wearing like a Harley Davidson tank top and like Levi's Daisy Dukes because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, but then I was like, these guys. I was like, okay, babe, where did you get these vintage Wranglers? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Who is that hat? Like your mullet with your fade, babe. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like so attractive, but then I was also like, everybody here is 21.
Yeah.
Like everybody here is 21 years
Yeah.
old. Like I immediately was like had to retract and I would like be looking at these people and I was like, you're not 30. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are not 30. Like you are probably 22 to 24 maximum. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I can't like even like look at you again because that's just not so that made me
Legal.
feel a little yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it made me feel like a little bit better. But it was really fucking fun.
So like
Also,
kind of humbled, but like a little bit of a reality check, I guess. Like
not really because like
just acknowledging that there are hot people outside of LA.
but like I was like overwhelmed. I was like, am I like at Coachella again or something like
Yeah.
that? Like
No, like
it
you're at
was
Stagecoach
yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people weren't like okay, this is also something that's going to make me sound really arrogant, but I was like trying to like pull out the tips and tricks of like I'm not waiting in a line, like we have something, like I'll pay you whatever. And oh my god, you know what else happened in Arizona that
Tell
was
me
like
immediately.
people were so nice.
Mm.
Like people were like if you bump into someone at like a club in LA, like you
You're
are
getting like
you are literally getting their drink purposefully like poured on you, I feel like
yeah.
in most instances. But like everybody there was so nice. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
be bumping into people because you're literally like a fucking pig in like a herd like
Yeah.
with all these people like
Yeah.
smashing into one another and everyone was just so nice. But I do have to say they were mean to me when I tried to be like, I'm not waiting in this line, I'll pay you. And
Who, like the guys at the front, the bouncers?
like the little boys, like I was not going to wait in line to like go pay for a ticket to go into the little rodeo thing, the bull riding thing.
Oh.
Um, and then the guys like wouldn't buy my friends drinks. And I'm like, you are like, I don't know. I just think it's so weird if you're a guy talking to somebody at a bar, like if I'm standing at a bar waiting to order a drink and if I'm ordering a drink, I'm going to ask whoever the fuck I'm talking to, whether it's my best friend, whether it's somebody that I just met, whether it's like my dad, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you want to
What do
drink?
you
Like I'll
want?
buy you
Yeah.
a drink. Like we are
Yeah.
standing at a bar, there's a bartender talking to me, like you need to ask the person next to you if they want a drink. I feel like no one was buying these girls drinks. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you can't look at her if you're not buying her a
Yeah.
fucking drink. Like, what do you think? Like, do you know how the world works? Like, do
Mm-hmm.
you know how the world works?
Well, it's because they're all 21 years old and they're broke.
There were the one guy that I'm talking about in particular who didn't buy my friend a drink was bald, um,
Mm.
and older,
Mm. So he was
and then
just
proceeded to kind of
disgusting.
like follow us around all night.
Ew.
And I was like this close to being like, please get away from me.
Yeah.
But no, it was really hot. It was a great experience.
Isn't it crazy though? Like the
I
guys there are
really
so
wish
hot.
I really wish that like I did my homework before and
Knew what you were getting into.
like I wish I kind of like leaned into it more.
Yeah.
And then I got really mad at you because you weren't texting me back and I was like, fuck you.
Oh my God.
I'm
I was
literally at
literally
Buffalo
getting
Chips.
verbally. I thought that we were just going to pretend that didn't happen because I just chalked that up to you being like drunk and
I was
annoying.
drunk and
Yeah.
annoying, but I was
Yeah.
like, bitch, I'm at a fucking roundup, whatever the fuck this is called, a bull riding thing, like in fucking Arizona. I was like, I'm literally you right now. And you like weren't texting me back. And I was like, bitch,
God forbid I have plans for once in my
No, I was like,
life.
I don't care. Like, whatever you're doing is not as important. That would be like you being literally in Carmel, like, I don't even know, at like one of the two bars there.
And I didn't even, it's not like I knew you were going to Buffalo Chip. Like, and I was supposed to just drop everything I was doing so I could text you
I've
back.
never been to something like that though. So I was like, this is so fucking cool. And I was so like pleasantly
You
surprised.
also, okay, you didn't respond to my text message from like 3 hours prior. And then 3 hours later, your next messages were being like, you're such a fucking bitch. Like, you're not responding to me. You're such a horrible friend. Like, literally going off on me. And I'm like, what about that message I sent you like
I'm like,
two
it
hours
doesn't
ago
matter, babe. It
asking you a
doesn't
question that you
matter.
never responded to?
I'm
Like,
like, I don't know what you're talking
okay.
about. I don't care. You're a bad friend.
Okay. No, literally,
I
that's
was
like
just like drunk and
verbatim
I
what you
was like
said.
literally drunk and
You were
bored.
just drunk and like being annoying. Yeah.
That's what I
And
like to do when I'm drunk. I like to pick fights, like, but like not real.
I have never experienced that level of fucking attitude from you when you're drunk.
Really?
I've experienced you being drunk and being like a twat, but like never to that extent. And I was
But
like,
that's like how I
I
talk to
might have to put my
everyone.
phone away. I'm getting literally verbally assaulted right now.
That's how
Like
I
you
am
were
with
being
everyone.
over the top, like obnoxious and
Oh my God. I took
mean
such good photos there.
of you.
Like I was being like fully, these people probably thought that I was like a tranny
Oh,
from
and
LA.
I
But I was like
know, like
literally taking pictures everywhere I went like this, like TikToker with like on point five with like double flash. I was like literally at the
like when
fucking
you were
rodeo.
texting me being such a fucking cunt, I can literally picture you in like that state of drunk that you get in where like all of a sudden you're like no
My
one around
fingers
you
are
is
moving a
real.
mile a minute.
Yeah,
I'm like, everyone is a
exactly.
character. My friend
And
was
you're
talking
like
to some girl.
taking selfies, you're like dropping it low, you're popping pussy,
No,
like
I
you're
was
like
literally like holding onto my phone like it was, I don't even know, like like flinging my phone around, literally charging my vape
I can
like
picture
everywhere
it.
I went,
Yeah.
like literally taking photos of everything because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna see these people again. I'm blacked
Mm-hmm.
out right now. I don't know where I am. And like, I was like, I'm kind of tan right now. So let's take pictures. I was like, let's fucking live. And I was so fucking mad. I was like, I need a fucking cowboy hat. I need like some sort of like Wrangler's paraphernalia on my
Yeah.
body. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to go back.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
Should we go?
1,000%.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's revisit this just really quick because I feel like we did not emphasize enough. Like, it
No
is
one wears
actually
condoms.
that too. It's actually jarring the level of attractiveness that is okay, but like the Buffalo Chip is like the only like hot place that like everybody goes. So even if you're like
My Uber driver
a
told me
little
that on the way
country
home.
boy, your Uber driver, what?
Told me that on my way home.
Yeah,
He was like, everyone here is like lives in Phoenix or wherever,
yeah.
and it's like an hour drive for them.
No, exactly. Like the last time I was in Arizona, we were staying 40 minutes away and
Hmm.
we Ubered there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that's the place to go, even if you're not like like country freak or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it was like literally
But
the
it
Abbey.
doesn't matter because everyone there is so hot. There's so much space to roam around. There's so much space to flirt. Like the bartenders are sweet. Like there's a fucking mechanical bull if you feel like riding.
One of
Like
the pregnant girls rode the mechanical bull, and it
I
was like,
saw it was so good.
Mhm.
That was so good. Um yeah. Anyway, I'm
Someone
really
just
glad.
commented on our Instagram. Guarantee they're both broke.
So true.
Imagine.
You're like, just one of us actually.
I'm like, both. I'm like, don't
Meanwhile,
drag
I'm
me
like,
into this.
I'm out here spreading chlamydia because I can't afford to get STD tested.
Or condoms.
So I did buy a box of condoms after I had chlamydia last summer and
Burnt them.
I went through all of them.
Okay.
I left a few at someone's house. And then like the rest were like, you know, when you're like using like 2 or 3 a night kind of thing.
Oh, mama.
Chris is like gonna throw
Talk
up.
about hot and bothered.
Okay.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
Okay, anyway, thank you so much for listening to our nonsense this week. Follow us on Instagram, Hot and Bother the Pod. What's their homework this week, Chris? Put your cowboy boots on
I don't
and
know.
go to the chip.
No, I'm thinking like either use a condom or don't use a condom, but also just like have like like come inside of someone. I don't know. I'm like just come inside of someone.
Okay, that
Also, don't use corporate courtesy
Yeah. Oh no,
manners.
fuck all
We're
that.
not saying hi, how
Fuck all
are you?
that.
You're not using exclamation points in emails. You are, hi Jen, did you get my email? You're just being short and
Yes. We
sweet.
don't care how their weekend was. We don't
Yeah.
care about their dog, blah, 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 blah. I do want to say, although I play it fast and loose with condoms, that is not to say sexual health is not a serious thing. You should consistently be getting STD screened, especially if you're not using condoms, blah, 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 blah. So this week, what you're going to do is you're first of all going to go get a fresh STD screening, and then you're going to go fuck
That
somebody
means you're
without a
gonna like
condom.
make me go do this. You're
Well,
gonna hold me to that one.
I might actually, because I'm going to go
I
this
think I'll
week or
do it
next
next
week.
week. I'm not
Yeah.
having sex
Do
for
you
a
want to go
long
together? We
time.
can hold hands.
Yeah, we should go to my place for free.
Okay. Okay. So do all that, and we love you, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Love you.
Love you so much. Bye.